what directors then do you have? Because I do think that people, if they're not able to now, will envision themselves getting to a stage where they can be more on top of the business. What are those different roles for them to target?
So director of sales, finance, logistics. We have we're starting a COO position that will oversee, which is some of the stuff I used to do way back when, but Jeff's our CEO. His goal is to create new vision and new programs to expand the company, which will include this nonprofit. He'd work specifically with like business development, finance, and concentrate on HR stuff to make sure that we're a really good company to work for. And then the COO would look at things like, work with logistics, our technology team, graphics, purchasing, and sales. And then essentially we would have a director of sales, director of technology, director of finance, director of logistics, and then the Jeff and this new role sitting on top of those in various ways. So, and it's time. Like, we desperately need that new role because Jeff's time is so in the weeds, and it shouldn't be. He should be working on programs to expand the business, and so that's happening. And so I'm working with a couple of nonprofits to do some programs that I'm super excited about, but they're still a little under wraps. So I'm going to just leave it at that, but it's good. And then I've been chatting with our friends over at Bella Canvas about different ways to sort of, work with printers. They had Tom Davenport, sort of their director of decoration, for a long time, but he's doing the Made Lab now. And Tom and I are really good friends. Like, he's one of the people in the industry I've known forever and I worked with. So Motion Company was Tom's company, and I was the director of operations there.
Okay. Super cool.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting is what I'm hearing is, like, to be able to work on what you want, you've now put people in place, trusted them, and then let go, right? Like, you own the company, but you're like, nah, I'm not going to be the CEO. There's someone better suited for that, so that I can work on what I want.
Jeff's always been the CEO. I was more the operations guy, but he was in the weeds too much, or he's been in the weeds too much. And I just, like, I've got 2 kids, very different in age. I've got like a crazy old 100-year-old house that I live in that we're constantly having to do stuff to. And then I have all this other stuff, like I do a podcast, and one of my shows, we developed a documentary series that's now going to be distributed by PRX. So, and that's all around incarceration. And so there's a lot of, there's a lot of stuff going on in my life that isn't related to SI necessarily directly, but sort of loosely. And it allows me the opportunity to step back, and when they need me to come in and do interviews like this, or do interviews because I've done a ton lately, you'll see like that the SF Standard that you mentioned, the SF Business Times. I've done like 3 other podcasts in the last few months with different people. And then I do my own. I do like a punk podcast where we interview grown-up punks that are doing cool shit that I like really look up to in different ways. And then I do the one about mass incarceration. And that one kind of took off because my co-host on that, his story won the Pulitzer Prize in 2022. And so there's like all this stuff happening that is not related directly to social imprints, but could benefit the business based on just a higher profile for me, So I think finding that balance is going to be important. And I really feel like the business is in like super good hands anyway. And Jeff has been really the guy the whole time we've been in business. He's been the CEO since the start. And, I think putting new people in the higher director positions is it's like going to be a major, good choice for the company, or, positive choice. So